All right. And we should be up and running. Regis Reeves, this mic is all yours.
You're listening to ACIM Gather Radio for students and teachers of A Course in Miracles. Join us at acimgather.us.
The more you give, the more you give, the more you live, the more you live. Your happiness is relative. And if you're feeling like crap, it's time to face the fact. It's your prerogative to be positive.
Gratitude before me and behind. Gratitude behind me to the left. Gratitude to the left of me to the right. Gratitude to the right of me, above me. Gratitude above me, below me. Gratitude.
You gotta wake up, wake up. Remember you're dreaming. Remember you're dreaming. Remember you're dreaming.
Let go of the past. Pull your head from your ass. It's your prerogative to be positive. Leave where the uninterrupted is. Here is where the laughter is. Be a tambourine man in the yellow submarine. Positive. Don't hang on tight. Let it all go.
Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Just scan your life. Think about all that you're grateful for. See the faces of God in your life that are represented by kids or family members, people you work with, people in this church. Breathe it in. Let's sing it one more time. Gratitude before me, behind. Gratitude behind. All that was behind me, to the left. Gratitude to the left of me, to the right. Gratitude to the right of me, above me. Gratitude above me, below me.
Give it all you got. You might win, you might lose. Shoot your best shot. Get mad, get even if you lost.
Remember not to forget to laugh. To worry about the future nor the past. Don't you know who walks beside you? Beside you. Don't you know that only love is true? Remember you were born to fit all, and when you started to fall, you had intention. And did I mention that this tension is only a dream? It's not all that it seems. It's
I'm so grateful, grateful, grateful. I'm so grateful. Oh yes, I'm so grateful. Oh yes, I'm so grateful. Oh yes, I'm so. Every single day I'm gonna say, I said just grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so
The more you give, the more you live. Your happiness is relative. But if you're feeling like crap, it's time to face the fact. It's your prerogative to be positive. I'm here only to be truly helpful. I'm here to represent him who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, for he who sent me will direct me. I am content to be wherever he wishes, knowing he goes there
with me. I'm healed as I let him teach me to heal.
All right, good morning and hi all, and welcome Nigel and all of those who are here this morning sharing with us in the Pal Talk chat room. I think I have a little mic noise here. Just give me a moment as I adjust. Sorry about that. And Lynn, Sharon, Linders, Delia. Ken Hart was here earlier. There's back again. Cindy, welcome. Good to see you. Hanging out with us this morning. And Dove was here. We were just listening to Karen Parente, who was really dropping some knowledge on us and some real positive reminders. And I really love that she reminded me that, bodies, human beings or human doings, as we are, we see something and we project our ideas on it and we believe it. A pastor many years ago said to me, there's a Bible verse that says, to the pure, all things are pure. To the defiled, all things are defiled. And he explained it like this. He said, if you are a person with love on your mind and loving thoughts and loving ideas, you will see something and that's what you will project on it. If you are suspicious and untrusting and fearful, you will attach fearful thoughts on it. And he said it like this. He said, if you see Brother Regis giving Sister Jan a ride home after church, that's what you see. Oh, look at Brother Regis. He's so nice. He's so helpful. He's giving her a ride. But if you're otherwise minded, you'll see, oh, look at Regis. There must be something going on between those two. I figured there was something, Okay. So, and we project our stories onto what we see and we believe it. And you know what? We tell other people, we'll share it with other people like it's the truth. We'll start recanting it, what we made up in our head and our projections. We'll start telling Lynn and Nigel about it as though it's factual. And when in essence, all we saw was two people riding in a car together. As Byron Katie would say, man and woman sitting in a car. And that's all we see and that's all we know. And everything else is a story that we are making up. I thought about on yesterday, there are many places in the text where it reminds us about correcting our brother's errors. And I thought, I thought it may be good if I looked up what error A Course in Miracles is talking about, because we seem to recant that idea sometimes as though, that we can't give any advice or any counsel, or we can't correct anything or bring any light to anything, so whatever my brother says, whatever they believe, they believe. But the error that A Course in Miracles is speaking about, and I'm taking this and I like it, and I'm taking it as my guide when I'm thinking about these various topics. When the Course in Miracles speaks about correcting a brother's error, this is from Robert Perry's Glossary of Terms from A Course in Miracles. And this is what is stated in this glossary of terms. Error, meaning wrong thinking, a mistake. The original error was the separation. All errors are merely splinters or subdivisions of this. Errors are not real and call only for correction. So it's not to say that there are not things in which we can bring closure and light and clarification to. And I found that to be very interesting, because I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I can't tell a person that you're doing something wrong. You're trying to get hot water and you're using the cold faucet. I can't correct that error, correct that mistake. So I thought I might bring that little clarification. Today, of course, and that's what we do. We come here to be truly helpful and to restore clarity, to restore our misguided thoughts. And it's very easy. We inhabit this body, and this body is in this world, and it's very easy, and it's not wrong, it's not bad, it's not a sin, but we're moment by moment tempted to forget the truth of who we are. And thank you, Cindy. Cindy typed, that makes so much sense. Everything else are splinters of the original separation, right? So when we tend to forget whom we are in this way, it's easy, because we know stuff. We know that if I want light in this room, to flip this switch. We know if I want heat or cold air, to move this mechanism this way or that way. So we are in a habit of knowing. We're in a habit of thinking we know, believing we know. We know that if we don't stop at red lights in traffic, we're probably going to cause some real problems, even that may lead to death for either ourselves or someone else. So it's a slippery slope in listening to the thoughts, listening to the mind. And some people have broken it down, and to be helpful, it's just only semantics and words, but it can be helpful. So we break it down into the thinking mind, the ego mind, different aspects of the mind that can be very helpful. And of course, in lesson 236, we had a few days ago, as we are in the 241st day of the year, we did 236 last week. And we know the mind has been given us to serve our purpose, to serve at our pleasure. However, most of us often live as though the mind is who we are, and that we're just victims of it. I can't help but think this way. I can't help but feel this way. But in truth, we can't help it. We can. We're not victims of our mind. If I'm not a victim of the world I see, then I'm not a victim of my mind, because the world I see is a projection of my thoughts, my interpretation of the world I see. It's just an interpretation that I'm allowing my mind to give me if I haven't taken my rightful place in directing my mind, in offering my mind to the interpretation of spirit, to the interpretation of truth. And so yesterday, I was still working from chapter 11, which I started last week. And chapter 11 in the text of A Course in Miracles is God or the ego. We're serving one or the other. We're listening to one or the other. We're either host to the Holy Spirit or host to the ego every moment, every second of the day. And neither is a sin, but it's just we need to recognize what's going on. It's not for self-mutilation of the mind and spirit and emotions. It's just know what you're doing. You know, if you want a milkshake, you want a milkshake. Know that it's about 1,000 calories, 900 to 1,200 calories in that milkshake. And if you also have a goal of nutrition and weight control, just know what you're doing. It's not a sin to want a milkshake. It's not a sin to buy it and drink it. But you can know what you're doing. You can be very aware of what you're doing. And you may decide that later, because you had the milkshake and you may be doing calorie counts, well, maybe I don't want the hamburger or the potato chips or the chocolate bar because I've already hit 1,000 calories with my milkshake. And none of it is a sin. None of it is wrong. I just can be aware of what I'm doing and I can make decisions that make me happy. I can join the Holy Spirit. I can join God in His will for happiness for me. I can work along with that process. So when we join God in His will to make us happy, we agree, yeah, God's will for me is perfect happiness. I want to be happy. I agree with that will. It really starts to direct the decisions we make. It helps us to be cognizant of the thoughts that we're entertaining and where we're going with those thoughts. And if we want to redirect those thoughts, or if we want to dig our heels in on those thoughts, because when our priority is peace, when we have truly decided for peace, we'll make different decisions and they'll be easy to make. We won't have to go back and forth and ponder. We'll know in an instant, yes or no. In many things that we face, we'll know quickly, yes or no. There won't be teetering and going back and forth and getting everybody's opinion, because we'll begin to learn, we'll begin to understand what makes for peace, what makes for happiness. Is this going to undermine my peace? Or is this going to promote peace? Is it going to truly be helpful? So as we were in the text on yesterday, looking at the problem and the answer, we were down to paragraph 5. And right before paragraph 5, paragraph 4, sentence 6 was in italics. That means it's important. This is the thing to put a pen in, to make a sticky note, to type it in our phones, and to create a pop-up or a reminder within our cell phones or our electronic devices. Do I want the problem or do I want the answer? And most of us, we get hung up very easily into the problem. That's what we want to tell Nigel about. We want to text and call Nigel and talk about the problem endlessly. We want to tell anyone who will listen. We want to go over and over and over and over and over the problem in our head. And so to hear it, the Holy Spirit is asking us in this section, ask yourself, therefore, but one simple question. Do I want the problem or do I want the answer? Now, it's just a habit. That's all. It's just a habit. We have a habit. That's what this world has taught us because it doesn't want us to be free. It wants us to be like everyone else. It wants to domesticate us to its system. It is not for the system of God. It is not for the system of love. It's not for the system of equality. People who even study New Testament, one of the mistakes in the understanding of Jesus as is presented in the New Testament in the Bible is that he was being persecuted and chased by government, and as the Bible said, he was taken from judgment hall to judgment hall. He was being questioned and incarcerated. They think because he was saying he was the Son of God. No, he was being incarcerated and questioned and imprisoned because he wanted equality. It was a society of the haves and have-nots. That's how the world works. Right here now in the world, in the United States, most of the time it's said that 10% or a little less control all the wealth in the world. It's the land of the haves and have-nots, and the haves want to keep it that way. And Jesus was promoting equality. And it was a threat to government because he was powerful. He was like a Dr. Martin Luther King. He was powerful. People listened to him. And if enough people listen to him, then they become a threat because there could be a changing of the guards. And so this world wants to domesticate us in that way and keep us in this land of haves and have-nots, in separation, victims and victimizers. So do I want the problem or do I want the answer? We want to get stuck in a problem. If you want to call it human nature, human habit, is to just really focus on the problem. And I've been in situations myself where I started spitting out solutions too fast, and people get offended. They actually get offended, just like they got with Jesus. They don't want the answer. So it's a real question to ask ourselves. Ask yourself, says the Holy Spirit, therefore, but one simple question. Do I want the problem or do I want the answer? And we can ask for the answer. And then right after that, it's just like in the Old Testament when it says, I placed before you life and death, choose life. So I'm going to answer it for you just in case you may be teetering towards the wrong solution. Decide for the answer and you will have it. So here's the test. Do you want the problem or the answer? It's a one question test. And let me help you. Decide for the answer and you will have it for you will see it as it is, and it is yours already. And then there's paragraph 5, but I'm skipping and I'm going to paragraph 6. But the last sentence of paragraph 5 says, when you refuse to ask, it is because you believe that asking is taking rather than sharing. You know, we simply, we come up in a culture where we may be asked by friends or whoever, did you pray about it? Did you ask God about it? And the reason we don't ask, we're being reminded today that because we believe asking is taking rather than sharing. We think if I ask the higher power, if I ask a higher source, if I ask a more qualified source, I may not get the answer I want. I feel like I'm going to be deprived of something, that something is going to be taken away from me. Sometimes we play that with each other. We don't go to the source. We do it in the workplace. We want to talk to coworkers, but we don't want to talk to the supervisor. Do we really want a solution? Or do we want the problem? Why are we talking to each other when neither one of us has the power or the authority to make a decision? And many times I direct my friends and family, why don't you go to the source? I don't want to just sit around here talking about the problem and we have no power to do anything about it. We have no decision-making power in this entity, in this company, in this organization. So if we really want solutions, let's bring in people into this conversation who has some power and some authority, who can make some decisions. Or do we just like to complain for the sake of complaining? Do we like the victim story? Do we really like painting ourselves as, we think some way in the victim story, if we're on the innocent side, we're better than everyone else. I'm a victim. I'm honest. I'm innocent. Well, is that true? Paragraph 6. The Holy Spirit will give you only what is yours and will take nothing in return. This is a sentence of trust. I can trust that I can go to Christ within. I can go to God within. I can go to the Holy Spirit. I can ask, and I can know that what is given will only be for my good. It will not take anything in return. The Holy Spirit will give you only what is yours and will take nothing in return. There will be no tax. There will be no taxation. There will be no sacrifices. I may have to sacrifice. No, you won't. That fear that I'm going to have to sacrifice. If I ask God, I may have to sacrifice something that I'm not willing and ready to give up. It's not true. He will take nothing in return. For what is yours is everything. And you share it with God. That is the reality. With the Holy Spirit, who wills only to restore, be capable of misinterpreting the question you must ask to learn his answer. So yeah, we're afraid sometimes, how we are with our spouses. Well, I want to talk to my spouse about it, but I think they're going to take it the wrong way. I want to share this with my friend, but I think it may be taken the wrong way. And then if it's taken the wrong way, I may get the wrong answer, or consequence. I may become a victim of asking the question. Would the Holy Spirit, who wills only to restore, be capable of misinterpreting the question you must ask to learn his answer? And I would say no. You have heard the answer, but you have misunderstood the question. You believe that to ask for guidance of the Holy Spirit is to ask for deprivation. Isn't that really true? Isn't that really the real reason why we don't take everything to God in prayer, as that hymn sings, what a friend we have in Jesus? Oh, what needless pains we bear. All because we do not take everything to God in prayer. We don't ask. We don't go to the Holy Spirit. We don't go to the higher power and say, what's your take on this? This is what I think. This is what I believe. But what's your take? And here's the lie in the middle of what I believe. You believe, which is a lie, that to ask for guidance of the Holy Spirit is to ask for deprivation. I want to quit this job. I want to relocate. I want to move to the other side of the country. Well, I don't really want to ask God. I want to go over and over with it in my mind. I want to consult with friends and family, and mainly the friends and family who I think will probably decide the way I want to decide. I want to do all of that. I want to go pay for professional counseling and get business advice, because I'm afraid to just go within and ask. Because in truth, I believe that I go to the knower of all knowing, is to ask for deprivation. I'm going to be deprived. And paragraph 7 says, little children of God, you do not understand your Father. You believe in a world that takes because you believe that you can get by taking. And by that perception, you have lost sight of the real world. You are afraid of the world as you see it, but the real world is still yours for the asking. Do not deny it to yourself, for it can only free you. Nothing of God will enslave his Son, whom he created free, and whose freedom is protected by his being. I am not a body, I'm free. I'm still as God created me. And Lynn typed in the board, I try to do it myself until I run out of options. Then I turn to God when I'm desperate. We need to get desperate sooner, don't we? We need to get desperate sooner. It'll save us a little time. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pains we bear. All because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. In prayer is clearly in this song a beautiful interpretation of the way prayer can be used, is to not tell God what to do, but to ask. Simply ask. This is what I see. This is what I'm feeling. But what do you know about this, Holy Spirit? What's your take? Above all else, I'm willing to see. And Jesus came along and said, hey, all of you who are burdened, stressed out, heavy burden, life is beating you from the left to the right. Join with me. Learn of me, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Ask me. Let me show you. I have the answer to all the questions, and I won't take anything from you. A Course in Miracles in the text says, your faith in nothing. We just read that this world that we believe in is not the real world. Your faith in nothing, in nothingness, is what's deceiving you. And the Holy Spirit says, give me your faith, and I will take it and I will place it exactly where it belongs, and you will love it. So throughout the course, we are encouraged to trust. Trust the Holy Spirit. Trust God. And I find today in many of my associations that that's one of the biggest problems. It's not that we don't know or believe that there is a God, there is a voice that's higher than ours, there is a source that knows all. We don't trust. And I see in these words that it's really saying, trust me. Place your faith in me. I'll take it and I'll place it where it belongs, and you will love it. Trust me. Trust me that I won't deprive you. You can ask. You can get direction. We don't have to sit here and contemplate with each other and go back and forth with all the pros and cons. You know, we're taught in this body, in this world, and it's good for a confused mind. It's helpful, you know, to get a sheet of paper, draw a line down the middle, put the positive on one side, the negatives on the other side, the pros on one side, the cons on the other side. I can simply go to God in prayer. I'm not knocking all the practical aspects and techniques of human psychology, but there is another way, and we can trust it. It says, blessed are you who are willing to ask the truth of God without fear, for only thus can you learn that his answer is the release from fear. Oh, you're afraid? Afraid you're going to be passed over, left out, abused? Little child of God, you do not understand your Father. You believe in the world that takes because you believe that you can get by taking. And by that perception, you have lost sight of the real world. You are afraid of the world as you see it, but the real world is still yours for the asking. Do not deny it to yourself, for it can only free you. Nothing of God will enslave his Son, whom he created free and whose freedom is protected by his being. Blessed are you who are willing to ask the truth of God without fear. For only thus can you learn that his answer is to release from fear. Blessed are you who are willing to ask the truth of God without fear. Blessed are you who are able to trust God, if you allow my interpretation. Blessed are you who are willing to ask the truth of God without fear, for only thus can you learn that his answer is to release from fear, false evidence appearing real. Beautiful child of God, you are asking only for what I promised you. This is paragraph 8. Do you believe I would deceive you? Beautiful child of God, you are asking only for what I promised you. Do you believe I would deceive you? The kingdom of heaven is within you. Believe that the truth is in me, for I know that it is in you. God's sons have nothing they do not share. Ask for the truth of any son of God, and you have asked it of me. Not one of us but has the answer in him to give to anyone who asks it of him. Ask anything of God's Son, and his Father will answer you. For Christ is not deceived in his Father, and his Father is not deceived in him. Do not then be deceived in your brother, and see only his loving thoughts as his reality. For by denying that his mind is split, you will heal yours. And this reminds me of my famous quote. That's not my quote, but that I love and I use. See the light in others and treat them as if it is all you see. Do not then be deceived in your brother, and see only his loving thoughts as his reality. For by denying that his mind is split, you will heal yours. Letting go of the story that my brother is attacking me. And the Course in Miracles warns us and gives us a warning to be careful, to be so quick to think that we are unfairly treated. Don't be so quick to not see the love that is in your brother, that is within your sister. Don't be deceived. Don't jump to conclusions, to think yourself unfairly treated, to think yourself that word that humans love disrespected, devalued, not appreciated. Do not then be deceived in your brother, and see only his loving thoughts as his reality. For denying that his mind is split, you will heal yours. I used to say, when I let myself off the hook, when we let ourselves off the hook, we begin to let everyone else off the hook. If I see my own innocence, see that same innocence in my brother. We'd love to say, I meant well. Well, know that your brother means well. Don't be moved by what you see. Don't be moved by what you hear. Move in what you know. That we're here only to be truly helpful. We're here only to represent him who sent us. Every encounter is a holy encounter. Every encounter, every moment. If this moment is creating fear, or I'm feeling fear, I'm feeling unfairly treated, I'm feeling threatened, I can know that every encounter is a holy encounter. So above all else, I want to see. And I can ask for help. Help me to see, because right here, right now, I'm in a panic. I feel attacked. And that can't be true, because every encounter is a holy encounter. Do not be deceived. Do not then be deceived in your brother and see only his loving thoughts as his reality. I don't see all those other thoughts. See only his loving thoughts as his reality. For by denying that his mind is split, you will heal yours. Accept him as his Father accepts him, and heal him unto Christ. For Christ is his healing and yours. Christ is the Son of God, who is in no way separate from his Father, whose every thought is as loving as the thought of his Father by which he was created. Be not deceived in God's Son, for thereby you must be deceived in yourself. And being deceived in yourself, you are deceived in your Father, in whom no deceit is possible. What a tangled web we weave when we practice deceit. In the real world, there is no sickness, for there is no separation and no division. Only loving thoughts are recognized, and because no one is without your help, the help of God goes with you everywhere. The help of God goes with me everywhere. And as we draw to the end of this hour, I want to go to today's workbook lesson. And that's lesson 241. Just quickly here. Come on. There we go. Lesson 241. The holy instant is salvation come. And I was just saying, every moment, every encounter is a holy encounter. So let's see what today's lesson has to say about it in these last 10 minutes. The holy instant is salvation come.
Lesson 241. This holy instant is salvation come. What joy there is today! It is a time of special celebration. For today holds out the instant to the darkened world where its release is set. The day has come when sorrows pass away and pain is gone. The glory of salvation dawns today upon a world set free. This is the time of hope for countless millions. They will be united now as you forgive them all, for I will be forgiven by you today. We have forgiven one another now, and so we come at last to you again. Father, your Son, who never left, returns to heaven and his home. How glad are we to have our sanity restored to us and to remember that we all are one.
All right, and that's our lesson for today. Lesson 241. This holy instant is salvation come. We have forgiven one another now, and so we come at last to you again. Father, your Son, who never left, returns to heaven and his home. How glad are we to have our sanity restored to us and remember that we are all one. And that's our time today for the most part. I believe that Myrna is here. Yes, and yes. And I guess Dove will be coming in shortly. And we'll be going into that hour. And we'll have time just enough for this beautiful song, I Am Loving Awareness.
I am loving awareness. I bring love, I am here. I am loving awareness. No loneliness and no fear. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. I am loving awareness. in everything that you see. You are loving awareness. I am you, you are me. Hari-Om, 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 Hari-Om. You are loving awareness in every breath that you take. You are loving awareness in the love that we made. Hari-Om, Hari-Om, oh yeah, Hari-Om, Hari-Om. In the forests and fields, in the mountains above, I see love, I sing love, I see love. We are singing as one, and we're rising above. I see love, I sing love, I see love. In the forests and fields, in the mountains above, I see love, I sing love, I see love. We are singing as one, and we're rising above. I see love, I sing love, I see love. In the forests and fields, in the mountains above, I see love, I sing love, I see love. We are singing as one, and we're rising above. I see love, I sing love, I see love. In the forests and fields, in the mountains above, I see love, I sing love, I see love. We are singing as one, and we're rising above. We are loving awareness. We bring love, we are here. We are loving awareness. No loneliness and no fear. Hari-Om, 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 Hari-Om,
You're listening to ACIM Gather Radio for students and teachers of A Course in Miracles. Join us at acimgather.us.
The more you give, the more you give, the more you live, the more you live. Your happiness is relative. But if you're feeling like crap, it's time to face the fact it's your prerogative.